Hello friends, today I'm going to solve LeetCode problem number 841 keys and rooms. In this problem we are given n number of rooms which are labeled from 0 to n minus 1, and what's given is that each room is locked except room number 0, which means that the room at the 0th index is not locked, so we can enter that room. And once we enter that room, there are keys in the room that we could collect. So once we collect those keys, we can use those keys to go to that room. So basically, if you look at this example here, since room number 0 is unlocked, we can enter room number 0 and collect the key for room 1, and we know room 1 is at index 1. So with this key we can enter this room, and now we get the key of room 2, so we get to the room 2, and then from here we get the key of room 3, so we enter the room 3. So basically, since we are able to visit all of these rooms, we are gonna return true. If we were not able to visit all the rooms, that we were supposed to return a false. Now let's see how we could solve this problem here. Let's take this example. So we have been given these rooms. Now how can we move from one room to another? We know we can visit room number 0. So what we do is I'm just gonna represent rooms with RMs. So this represent these array rooms. So we know we could visit room number 0. So once we visit room number 0, what we do is we collect the number of keys that we have in this room. So the key is here 1, right? So we collect the key 1. Now what we do is we visit this room next. So now I visit room number 1. So now I visit room number 1, and then what I do is I collect the key from this room. So what I collect is the key of room 2, and then for room 2 I again visit room 2 and I collect the key for room 3, right? So now I collect the key for room 3 and visit room number 3. Now since room number 3 doesn't have any key, so we stop there and we see that we have visited all of the 4 rooms, right? So which means that we have visited all, so we return true. Now in case of the second example, let's see how we could solve this problem using this example here. So now we have 4 rooms here, right? So if you look closely, we have 4 rooms starting from 0, 1, 2 and a 3. So these rooms, now what we do is visit our room 0. So we get the key for room 1 and room 3. So we visit room number 1. So room 1, we visit room 1, and what we get is, now since we have visited room 1, we remove this from this list and we collect all of the keys from room 1. So we already have key number 3. Now I collect the remaining keys and I add to the collection of my keys. So I have 3301. Now what I do is I visit the next room. So I visit room number 3, which is this one, right? So I visit room 3 and I collect the key, which is 0. Now next again, what happens is I'm visiting room 3 again, but I have already visited the room 3, right? So I do not need to visit it again and again. So what I do is I do not visit it because I have already visited that, so which means that I need to keep a track of the room that I have visited already. Next I have room 0, which I have already visited, so I do not visit it again. Next room 1, which I have already visited, so not visiting it again. Room 0, so not visiting it again. So how many rooms did we visit? Well, we only visited 3 rooms, 0, 1 and 3. We did not visit room number 2. So what we do is we return a false here. Now we could solve this problem using a queue. I have since I am starting from the element which I entered first in the queue, so first in first out. So I'm using a queue basically here to represent this example, but we are going to use a stack, because in case of queue we use the shift operation, and the shift in queue is O of n time complexity. So we are not going to use shift, but rather we are going to use stack and then pop each of the element, and we are going to keep track of all the rooms that we have visited so far, and finally return true if we have visited all the rooms, else false. Now let's code. So we need a stack, and then we need a list of all the visited rooms, right? So I'm going to create a set of all the rooms that have been visited. And now what I do is I push into my queue, I push into my stack the room number 0, because we are gonna actually room number 0 is like open, so we visit the room number 0 first. So oh no, it's a stack. So what we do is we push all the keys from room 0. So 0, so this will give me the values, all the keys of room 0, and then I'm gonna add to my visited set the value 0, because now I have visited that. And then while stack is not empty, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep popping from the stack, let room equals to r equals to stack pop, and gonna check if visited has r, which means that if I have already visited, then I'm just gonna continue with another element in the stack, and you continue, else I'm gonna add that element to my visited list, the room to my visited list, and then I'm gonna push to the stack again, push to the stack the keys that I'm gonna get from when I visit the room R. So R, I'm gonna push all of those values, and finally check visited size, check the size. If the size is equal, it means that we have already visited all the rooms. If not, it's gonna return a false. Now let's try to run our code and see everything works well or not. Okay, visited is not defined via si, so I have been using via s. Great. Now let's submit the code. Cool. So the time complexity is, since we have a while loop, the worst case time complexity could be O of n, and the space complexity is also O of n.